silly. Hi everyone, welcome to Thriving Thursdays. I'm Lisa.
And I'm Brenda.
And we are beyond ecstatic to be here with you today in our
skeleton outfits.
We thought maybe this would support giving you even more, hi Marjorie, give you even more of an idea of what the structure of the body might be doing as we are working on spinal health this month. So today we're gonna, so last week, Brenda, what did we do last week?
We discussed the 3 different curves we have in our spine. So the first one we discussed about is our lordosis. Kyphosis.
Wait, back it up.
Okay.
Where are our 3 curves?
And our upper spine, middle, and lower. Or neck. Cervical, thoracic, and lumbar.
Okay, well let's do it like this.
Oh yeah, now you can see it better.
Cervical, thoracic, and that's the lumbar. Okay, now, with that said, we've got this natural curve in our spine, and now when it goes out of balance, there's a few issues that happen. One of them is, if you were with us last week, what is it, Brenda?
Kyphosis.
It's when the thoracic part of the thoracic part of the spine just starts to find that deep curve and that kind of hunching over. And then the other thing, and I know why you were saying the lordosis, because you were talking about
There we go.
So show front head carriage.
Front head carriage.
Yeah, so that is lordosis in the cervical spine. Now, pull it up. Show flattened. Flattened is like no curve. That was good, Brenda. That was really good. Okay, now, lordosis in the lumbar spine. What does that look like? That's right. Cheerleader butt. Okay. So those were the issues that we kind of highlighted last week that people experience as we progress through this beautiful life, and things like gravity and, life experiences do their thing. We start to find imbalances in that natural curvature of our spine. So,
through activities, but we have to make sure we have our disclaimer.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
So just remember that these are just useful tools for you. We're not doctors.
No, in fact, this does not replace any kind of a personal session. Right. So if you're having any issues with, your body, mind, body, spirit type, we do yoga therapy and we would love to do a personal consult. Feel free to direct message either of us. But this is really more for educational purposes, discussional purposes, and maybe giving you a few tips to try to see if it might help out.
And guide you. Okay. So our first, we're going to do some poses today to help you gain back your natural curve.
Yeah. So we're going to start, actually you're going to start.
I'm going to start in...
We're going to work with Chakra Vakasana. I'm going to come over here.
Okay.
So they can see you. I'm still involved.
Okay.
I'm still involved, Brenda. So in Chakra Vakasana, we're doing a lot of things that are going to help create circulation in the spine and keep that range of mobility. Now, Chakra Vakasana is also known as cat-cow. Many of you maybe are familiar with this. Now, Brenda's going to hug in her belly though, so that her ribs kind of hug towards the back side. These back ribs right here.
You see my ribs?
And she's going to keep that belly hugged in, although she is going to begin to take an inhale and extend her sternum forward, maybe lift through her chin. And then as she exhales, she'll press into the palms. Her navel is pulling up to the back of her spine and she's rounding. And then again, she'll soften the elbows, lowering the belly down, lifting the chin and the tailbone, exhaling, rounding and rounding and rounding. Now, a couple variations. Brenda's going to go neutral here for a second, and then I'm going to have her tuck her toes. For some of us, it might actually feel really nice, not just in the feet, but in the rest of the body, to also work with a different breathing pattern. So this time when you breathe in, can you take your belly button to your navel and find cat pose with the inhale? And then as you exhale, lowering, softening, lifting the gaze in the tailbone. Beautiful. And then once again, inhaling, taking it back. Now take your hips back towards your heels, and that'll feel really nice in your spine. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Soften your elbows and slither your heart through. Again, hugging the ribs towards the backside, even with this shape. And then just show a few more. You really want to use your breath to your movement, and you want to explore what feels good in your body, right? But this is a really great way to just bring some energy and vitality into your spine, to move any blockages, whether they're energetic, they're physical. So it's a really, really beautiful shape. All right. And where are we headed now, Brenda?
Downward facing dog.
Okay, so Brenda's going to tuck her toes. Now for each individual, this might be different. Meaning I'm going to have Brenda lift her knees and lift her hips and take her tailbone up and back in a traditional inverted V here, downward facing dog. What I want you to know is if that doesn't feel okay because of shoulder injury or anything like that, that if this was a wall, you could place your hands up against a wall and also find that axial extension through your spine. So that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to get that axial extension, right? So from the crown of Brenda's head all the way up her spine, tailbone lifting and reaching back. And then there's actually a little decompression that happens here in a downward facing dog. So as Brenda is here in this shape, she is kind of reaching her heart towards her thighs, and at the same time her ribs are hugging in towards the backside of her body. Her shoulders are pulling away from the ears, and at the same time the outer shoulders are hugging in, and her triceps are hugging down towards the earth. And from here she can also feel all of those knuckles pressing into the earth to help her find more extension and length through her spine. How does that feel, Brenda?
Very nice.
Now, for some of us, when we're in this shape, we might be high up on our toes. See if you can just soften the heels to the earth. You may or may not ever touch your heels to the earth. And how you can play around with it also is by shortening or lengthening your stance a little bit in downward dog, and you'll see how more accessible it will be to get your heels maybe to the earth. And that's not necessarily the ultimate goal, right? It's about really just feeling into your body, noticing what feels good, noticing where you need space. There are so many benefits of this shape, but one of them is right there for your spine, the decompression. All right, and so from here, Brenda, where are we headed?
We are going to come to a stand, do a couple standing poses now.
All right.
So Lisa, do you want to demonstrate this one?
Sure.
Let's get our bones lined up. So we're going to do our traditional Tadasana. Lisa has her feet together. You can have your toes touching, heels slightly apart, or you can have your feet hips distance. So you just decide what feels better for your balance.
And I don't have a block here, but you could also, right, have one in between your thighs.
You can. I don't know how many
I have a million in
somewhere
the facility, just not right
in
here.
the facility.
The facility.
All right, so Lisa's going to stand here nice and tall, rooting her feet down into the earth, rolling shoulders up, back, and down as her palms face forward. And then she needs to start to pull up your kneecaps, so you tighten your quads. See your bones getting tight. Pull belly into your spine. And you want to kind of tuck your chin just slightly. It's like you're kind of pressing the back of your neck, their cervical spine, against a wall.
Should I show from all sides?
Yeah, maybe do from the side. Let's see how her spine looks. She looks like she has a natural curve. I'm just going to move her arm just to show you what her spine looks like. Beautiful. And she's nice and flat. And here's what it looks like from the back. All nice and lined up bones. Beautiful. And then from here, put a smile on. That's always important. Okay. When you take a deep breath in, press down through your feet like you're breathing air from the floor, from the earth, breathing up through your legs, through your spine, through your crown of your head. And exhale, send your breath down. So as we do this, when you breathe in, just imagine your spine is lengthening up towards the heavens. It's like the top of your head. Like I have this big thing up here on the top of my head. It's being pulled up. So it's something right. You're pulling yourself up, kind of like a doll being pulled up, lengthening out your spine. And when you exhale, keep your spine tall as you press the air down through your feet, keeping this extension of your spine.
Oh, that felt different.
Doesn't that feel different?
Yeah, it's like exhale taller.
Exhale and get taller. Usually you exhale and you kind of feel like you're shrinking, but if you keep your spine tall, you're going to create space in your spine, which allows movement and imbibes your spine with fluid. We love that word. All right, now we're going to move into some sun salutations, sun A's. We're going to do, Lisa's going to do half sun A's, and I'm going to do the full sun A's so you can see the difference. I'm going to be behind Lisa.
Forward. I'll be over here to the side, and then Brenda will be doing a variation, and we'll do about 5. So the last couple I'll just get completely out of the picture because you'll know what this variation will look like, and then you'll be able to see her better. So we want to use our breath with our movement, right, Brenda?
Yes, breath through movement and stand in your Tadasana.
So standing here in Tadasana, finding the 4 corners of your feet, maybe rocking forward and back a couple times or side to side, and just really getting yourself grounded and connected into the earth. And then as you're ready, inhale, sweep your arms up towards the sky like you're reaching up for the stars. And then as you exhale, either bring your hands through your heart or you can swan dive them like Brenda's going to do here. And let your lower belly lengthen your tailbone back as you reach with your heart forward and you fold. And then as you inhale, take your palms to your shins, reach the sternum forward, keep the back of your neck long. And then as you exhale, fingertips to the earth. If you're taking my variation, come onto the toes and round your upper chest. If you're taking Brenda's variation, you might
plant your hands and you can step one foot back, then your other foot back. You might want to just press into a downward facing dog. Or maybe you're going to step back into your plank pose, right?
Or on their knees, right?
And if you can be in plank, and if it's too much, you can also take your knees down. Maybe take a cat-cow here. Or if you're on your knees, you can bring your chest and chin down, slither out, and just become into a baby cobra as your chest lifts.
Beautiful.
Or maybe pressing into your hands, getting into your full cobra.
Very nice.
Bend your knees, you can tuck your toes, and then you're back into your downward facing dog.
Now for those of us that aren't comfortable going into downward facing dog, you can work with that lifting, that folding, the halfway lift, and then come into a crouching curl. As you come onto your fingertips, you can round your upper chest and take a couple deep breaths into the back side of your body. And then for us to continue, we'll just drop the heels, sweep our arms up again, reach up, look up, and then maybe this time bring the hands to your heart space. Samastitihi. Feel yourself balanced, and then inhale, sweep it up once again, nice and tall. Exhale, leading with your heart, you'll fold. Inhale, lengthening through your spine, palms to the shin, lengthen your heart forward, keep the back of your neck long. And then exhale, taking your variation here and exploring what feels right in your body. A few breaths here to find your variation. And you can always take a cobra or an upward facing dog if that is something you have in your practice. And if not, don't worry about those. And then one more time, we'll sweep the arms up, we'll reach up. We always want to try to do these sun A's, maybe 3 to 5 times, hands to your heart at least, to really get that circulation going. Inhale, sweep and reach. Exhale, belly is engaged as you fold. Inhale, palms to the shin, lengthening your heart. Exhale, fingertips or palms to the earth, and you find your variation. And then Brenda and I are going to meet back in a standing position. Back in mountain pose, just finding that even balance between the right and the left side. We'll notice what it feels like to be in our bodies. And then from here, we want to give you some other variations to work with. Brenda, do you want to, we didn't really talk about how we wanted to do this one, right? One of us.
One.
So we want to give variations for, the different imbalances, right? So if you're somebody, just as a refresher, just in case, if you're somebody that has kyphosis, your body structure is more like that. If you're somebody that has a flattened spine, it's hard, but Brenda's going to get rid of her curve. And then if you're somebody who has lordosis, you got a booty that's sticking out, but it's really your tailbone. And so we're going to give you some variations to work with the arms. So Brenda's going to take her right foot forward and her left foot back, maybe about, 2.5 feet. Mm-hmm. And she's going to start to bend her right knee. Now, why don't we show the variation for kyphosis first? So if you're somebody that arches through the thoracic spine, it will be really nice to take your arms and gold post them, and you'll see that she is lifting through her sternum right here, and she's squeezing through her scapula right here. Now, as she breathes in, she's going to feel axial extension through her spine, like I'm pulling her up from her bun. And as she breathes out, she might get a little deeper into that front knee if that feels right. She has a lot of energy engaged right here in her belly. Beautiful. So the other variation is to also do that one with a straight front knee, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And, okay. So if somebody has a flattened curvature, then arms straight up. Yep, keeping that front knee bent. And of course, you always want to do both sides, but we're just showing one side for the purposes. Yeah.
Okay.
So breathing here, she's tall and she's grounded. And then for the third variation, this is going to be for somebody that has lordosis, so that cheerleader butt. So what we're working with is trying to take that curve that's overdone out by kind of hugging the tailbone down. And then she's going to take her arms up and she's going to hug in through the belly and just reach forward. And that's going to help kind of lengthen again the spine. So one of the things that we're doing a lot of, as you notice in these postures, is really working on trying to lengthen the spine. Okay, now I want to go back to, can you go back to Warrior One? If you feel more comfortable taking your left foot forward, you can. Because I know you've been on the right side. Yeah. So this time, let's show them some other options. Yeah, so one other option would be if somebody has kyphosis, it would be really trying to work on just keeping the heart lifted and maybe not getting the arms involved at all, right? Mm-hmm. Another option for the person that has a flattened thoracic spine will be to interlace the hands and round through the thoracic part of the spine as they're in this shape. And then that last option for somebody who has that lordotic curve is to take her hands on her hip, and really work with noticing what it feels like to have that tailbone kind of root more down towards the earth. So these are some variations. So maybe you're somebody that already practices yoga. Maybe you can make these subtle modifications in your practice when you're in a class. Or if you're not somebody that practices yoga, you can work on just these few handful of postures that we've shared with you today. You can also check out, we have another video we have 2 videos right now on YouTube. And those YouTube videos are just some postures to keep your spine healthy and also to support balance.
Yeah.
Why are you laughing?
I'm just laughing at our
outfit?
At our skeleton outfits.
Yeah.
Yes.
We did this just for you. We want you to know that. This is just for you. Anything else that we want to say, Brenda? Did we cover everything?
I think so. It was just pretty much today is just keeping your spine long, breathing along your spine, pulling you up.
Yeah.
Lengthening out and just getting our curves to become back to our natural state.
And I think the last thing too, to add to that, because we've focused so much on the anatomical components of this. However, when we're working on our breath, when we're working on clearing the actual physical spine, we're also getting rid of the blockages that start to happen over time. So that can be actually physically, but it can also be energetically. So you'll notice that if you do just this little bit that we did, if you took, they actually showed that 11 minutes, research shows, 11 minutes of yoga a day can make a world of difference, right?
Yes.
So if you just did a few of those sun A's and you just did a few warrior ones, and that was all you did, and you just really worked on your breath and really feeling the hugging in of the belly and really trying to work on balancing out your curvature of your spine. So if you're somebody that's starting to kind of go forward, which a lot of us are, then we're going to work more with the opposite and the opening. And if you're somebody that's always sticking that tailbone out, you're going to work with trying to hug the tailbone down and really creating that balance back in your spine. Brenda.
Then one more thing I
Yes.
just thought of. Just on a daily basis, if you have body awareness. So say you're in line at like the grocery store, and how are you standing? Are you standing 1 foot forward, 1 back, like sticking your hip out to the side, like you're just waiting for the next person to go? Kind of become aware and just maybe plant both of your feet, hip distance apart, and feel your feet. Are you standing even on both feet, or is, like you said, one hip sticking out, the other? Maybe try rolling your shoulders up, back, and down, and having your palms pressed forward.
Oh yeah, that's a really good one when we get into the shoulders, especially, right?
Yeah, pulling your belly in. And obviously you're not going to stand around all day and like walk with your hands forward. You can release your hands and just feel. Is your crown of your head, is it being lifted towards the sky? Or are you like hunched over, waiting in line, like hanging over your shopping cart?
And, like for me today, Brenda came over and I was like, my back hurts because I've been sitting like this, and I've really just been trying to catch it now, and do what I'm telling all of you to do.
Right.
Is to do the basics, really, right?
Be aware, just being aware, just catch yourself wherever you're at. If you're sitting down, if you're driving in your car, are you slouching? Can you sit up? Can you pull your belly in? Can you sit up a little taller?
And pull your chin to the base of your neck and push your head up against the headrest. Because I don't know about you guys, but how many times I'll catch myself just like total collapse, like it's terrible. It's terrible.
Everyone does it. We're all guilty
of it.
We're all guilty. Just how can we be more aware of our bodies and where we're placing them throughout our daily activities.
And that's what Thriving Thursdays is really about, is just really increasing our consciousness and how our bodies are in relationship to all the other parts of ourselves, right? Which is yoga, of course. But okay, so we'll see you soon. We're going to be here again in March going over hips. So if you got hip stuff, if you know somebody with some hip stuff,
our hips.
We're going to be getting into the hips. Come back and join us. It'll be not next Thursday, but the Thursday after that. I don't know the date off the top of my head, But keep your eye on my Insta and we'll make sure to let you know.